What's up everyone, Max here in Muscle World. I am here today, I am answering your questions. So I've had a question from Kartik Rams. He's asking, he's saying he can currently do 30 press-ups with good form, in full range of motion. And he is asking how can he take it from 40 press-ups and then onwards to 50 press-ups. So Kartik, I'll tell you step-by-step process on how to do that right now. So step one, it sounds fairly obvious with what you've got to do, and you've got to do a lot of press-ups, and I mean regular press-ups. I'm talking 3 to 5 times a week of press-ups or push-ups, whatever you want to call them. Make sure you're using good form. You don't necessarily have to do it to a beep or a cadence, something like that, but just make sure you are getting good quality range of motion all the way down, all the way up, and you're trying not to break form by cheating or sticking your bum up in the air or anything like that. Now, I'd suggest looking at doing 1 to 3 sets over these sort of 3 to 5 days. 1 to 3 sets of good quality press-ups, starting off at around about 20 repetitions. And as the weeks go by, just gradually increasing them. Just add a couple of reps here and there. So week 1 would be 20 press-ups, week 2, 21, week 3, 23, and so on. Throughout your program the week then, you also want to do heavier days. You want to schedule some kind of heavier weights or rep ranges within your set. So there's a couple of options you can do that. Some guys, they like to use bench press. Me, for example, probably prefer a bench press. Other options are dips, weighted dips, or you could even do press-ups with a backpack with some weights on your back, or even somebody sitting on your back. Personally, I prefer the bench press method because it is easier to control the progression of weight, because you can just add 1.25 kilograms on either side and just gradually increase that way, as opposed to I find with doing weighted press-ups, where the weight is on your back can really affect how much it means on your body. So even if it's just a couple of inches up or down, it could actually affect the progression. So it's not a bad exercise. It does work your core very effectively, but it's not as easy to progress and continue to progress. Just go with whatever works for you. Find whichever option you will stick to and continually progress to, because that's the most important thing. Personally, for me, whenever I have tried doing it with weighted press-ups, I've never actually stuck to it, but I've generally stuck to bench press more effectively, and therefore, because I'm actually doing it, I've got results from it. So with regards to the heavier working sets, I don't mean you don't need to do sort of 1 rep maxes or anything below 10 repetitions really. So it's going to be more of a moderate weight. So the rep range I suggest looking for would be 10 to 20 repetitions. You could do some kind of pyramid scheme. I'd find that effective, whereby within your actual workout you're gradually increasing the weight and decreasing the repetitions. So your first set might be 15 reps, next set might be 12 reps and slightly heavier weight. Third set could be a set of 10 reps with an even heavier weight, and so on. This is to increase your pushing power with weight in excess of your body weight. Very important that whilst you're doing these, or you're practicing your press-ups, you're holding the press-up position for a longer period of time. Your body gets used to holding it then, so your core gets stronger, your glutes get stronger, your whole body gets more stable in that position. So just by doing bench press alone won't necessarily make you that good at press-ups, but doing the two combined will really be a benefit for you. So this is kind of like a hybrid method of greasing the groove and also doing strength training and muscular endurance training. So we're not going to be reaching failure with the press-ups. So when I say you're doing them 3 to 5 times per week, you don't necessarily have to be doing full workouts of press-ups 5 times per week, because you're going to be doing strength training on top of that. Not just your pushing exercises, you should be doing pulling exercises as well, and leg exercises and full body exercises and circuit training, things like that. But you're just focusing on press-ups. If you're doing 5 days of press-ups and say like 2 days of strength training, that's 7 days there where you're training your chest and your triceps, your pushing muscles, which is too much. So you can scale it back. So you could do press-ups as part of your warm-up routine for your bench press exercise, but maybe only do 1 or 2 sets. And then you could even do working sets of press-ups on the days where you're not doing press-ups, where you're going to do a slightly higher rep range for more muscular endurance. So when I say you're doing press-ups 3 to 5 times per week, you don't necessarily have to be doing all-out press-ups or failure or anything on those days. You could be doing just 1 day where you do a set of 20. Because what you're doing is you're just programming your body. It's neuromuscular at this stage. You're not pushing your muscles to failure. That's going to happen in the more kind of the strength sessions where you're going to be pushing harder each time and lifting heavier weights each time, but staying within the rep ranges of 10 to 20. With push-ups, and eventually you're going to be able to do 30, 40, 50. So just by doing 20, which is nowhere near to your failure point, where you're saying you can do 30, so 20 is nowhere near your failure point, it works out well because you're doing that movement and your body gets used to doing it. Your brain gets more efficient at sending the signals to the muscles to get it do to do that certain movement, and it just gets more efficient and therefore becomes easier for you, particularly if you're then getting stronger by lifting heavier weights. It's good to test yourself as well, so every kind of maybe 3 or 4 weeks, set yourself a date and say, look, on that date, I'm gonna test myself. Keep all the parameters the same, make sure you're going at the same distance. So it's advisable to have something to touch your chest, whether it be chest to floor, fully extending the arms, or you could have like a, something that you could, maybe a fist height that you could land, that you could touch your chest on. You could do it with a cadence beep. I'll link one above me now, which you could use. Once you've performed the test, then jot down what score you've got and then analyze it. Okay, you've improved. How did you improve? Did you improve to a level that you were happy with? Would you like to improve some more? I think most of us would like to improve more with these tests. You're not necessarily always going to be able to improve. There will come a time when you won't improve. You may even go backwards, but it's being able to assess it. There's no point getting yourself beat up about it. Look at it and say, all right, I scored 30 in the test last week. This week I've only scored 31. Well, it's still a progression, that's fine, but maybe it's not as much as you wanted. In a few weeks' time, then you may go back to 30. In which case you need to look at your training and you say, right, okay, what haven't I done effectively? Have I not been increasing the reps? Have I been sloppy? Have I been missing out training sessions? Have I been doing too much? So before you do a test, sorry I forgot to say, before you do a test, make sure you've had 2 days rest before you undertake a test, because you can be fatigued from your training. So have 2 days rest, take the test every 3 to 4 weeks, whatever your schedule allows. Make sure you're nice and rested, make sure you're nice and warmed up before training, before testing. Try and keep the variables the same, but then you need to look at your training then, analyze it and adjust it. You can't just keep doing the same training methods consistently. You need to make sure you're progressing, you need to make sure you're training harder than before, and you need to make sure that you're keeping the form as strict as well, because it's very common, and I've seen it happen so many times, whereby people are, they're posting videos or they're trying to say they've improved with things, but really all they've done is their technique just got worse. So they're doing more repetitions or they're lifting more weight, but they're not doing it. They're not being true to the form that they had in their initial test. So it's very important that if you are looking to improve, you're trying to keep the variables the same, which is why a push-up, a pacer test or a bleep test is an ideal method to use to test yourself when it comes to muscular endurance tests like a press-up. Okay, I hope this information has helped you. Have a go with this hybrid program. I do find it to be quite effective in terms of improving your strength and your muscular endurance at the same time for a specific exercise. If you've got any more questions, let me know in the comments below. If you want to answer, maxlover.com for training. Check the links in the description. Like the video if you enjoyed it and you found it useful, and make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss a video. There's 2 videos up on here for you to watch. Make sure you watch them. See you soon, guys. Thank you very much for the question. Have a great day.